Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we will continue our coloring checklist challenge journey for this year by Color and Chat with Sammy, and we will do this prompt. We will do something a little different today in this book because if you saw my color along for the Space Kitty, that's also in this book, there is one particular moment after I colored the black border on the on the page, this one, and then you can see me putting my protection sheet behind the page, and it would have been a good idea to either check if the black is dried or to clean my protection sheet, because otherwise, and now you will see what page we will color today, this will happen. So the good thing is this was gouache paint and not acrylic paint. Gouache paints are water-based. So immediately I took a wet brush and just diluted the oopsie that I did here to get some of the paint off again, and then just dabbed it with a paper towel. So it's not solid black as it was before. That's a plus. Downside is I had to use so much water that it peeled the paper. But I want to fix this. And since we have this acrylic paint prompt in the checklist challenge, I thought this could be a way to rescue this. I originally come from painting with acrylic paints. That's something I did long before I started coloring books. But my times with acrylic paints are, it's been a while. And when I say a while, I mean about 8 years. Something between 7 and 9 years, somewhere around there. So I'm not very trained at the moment at them. I'm not sure if this is like riding a bicycle, so you don't forget it. I'm not quite sure. We will find out today together. I got rid of many of my colors from back then, but I still have some random colors. My little basket. And I have mostly actually dollar store paints, some Liquitex colors, some folk art colors. The folk arts I have because I also did sculpting for a while. Was really fun, but at some point I just didn't know where to put all my figures that I did. So the acrylic paints are still here, and the modeling stuff and sculpting stuff is gone by now. And yeah, that's what we will bring out today. I'm not quite sure if I will sorry, paint all of this page, since they are really small details. I'm not sure, even though I have really thin brushes, but I'm not sure if I will manage to get in all the tiny details with the brush. But we will see. I mean, this area, there's just nothing we can do with pencils anymore. It's just too dark. On the camera, it even seems lighter than it is. Also, since the paper is pretty rough in these areas, I think we would have a difference in structure when we will when we would go over with some pencils. We will see if we use pencils also on the acrylic for more definition at the end. It all depends on how well my hands and my brain will remember the acrylic times from back then. So this will be an adventure for me too. And I would say let's just grab me some paints and then we will see how it goes. My colors out. And one thing I'm doing since forever is I cover my palette with aluminium foil. Underneath this foil, this palette is completely destroyed. So there's so much dried up paint underneath. There's no way to rescue this. But when I do this, I can color, and after this, I just throw the foil away. And yeah, in a perfect world, the palette underneath would be completely clean without me just cleaning it. So that's just for laziness purposes, in case anybody is interested. These are actually the colors for my frog that I laid out. As you can see, no green. This is a yellow. This looks a little bit green, but it's a yellow. Because I want, I mean, since we are experimenting here anyway, I don't want to go for the normal green frog colors, and I decided to go with a poison dark frog. In German it's Pfeilgiftfrosch. So a frog is a frosch. And since there are so many beautiful, beautiful colors here, I thought, why go with a green one, right? If we have the opportunity. And I decided to go with this color scheme. So red, green, and blue. And also a good thing is they have really dark eyes. So that's good for this. What's going on here. So they have black eyes. That's good for us. And that's we will going for this little froggy. Okay, let's see if we can actually do that. As I said, it's been a while since I painted, actually. I just thought, okay, I mean, the prompt is acrylic paint, but maybe we can switch later on to the beautiful gouache box that I bought a while ago, because these colors are also very, very opaque. But since here we have already gouache onto it, I'm not sure if I got everything off or if I will lift some of the colors. And so we will start on the frog with acrylic paints, and maybe we can go on the leaves and stuff with gouache, but I haven't decided yet. Okay, so enough bubbling around. Our frog will have a orangey reddish head. So let me see if I can get it somewhat so that you can see the palette too. Hope that's okay. Also with the shiny surface of this foil, the camera and the lighting has really hard time today, so I'm sorry for that. Let's see if that's better. The surrounding looks so dark. But anyway, by the time you should know that I'm still struggling with this. Okay, so let's see what we can do. I want it to be a little more orange. Start a little lighter. Really, it's been so long that I used acrylic paints for the actual image and not just for background or frame or whatsoever, but so I'm just as scared as you are, maybe, probably more. But let's see. Okay, so on the reference picture, actually shaking a little bit, so this will be fun. And yes, we will completely lose every little detail because these colors are so opaque. And we will, oh, I forgot something, but actually I even brought out these paper clips so we can pin down our paper, since we will use a lot of these paints, and I think it will cause a lot of stress on the paper. But for now, let's see, since I completely forgot. But let's just see what happens. When the paper is warping, we can still pin it down. That's so scary for me too. But if you do a oopsie, and that's a perfect example to show that you can solve and rescue most of the oopsies you do. At least I hope at this point that I can prove this. And I don't have a ton of paint on my brush right now. It's actually still a very thin coat that I'm applying right now. I'm just trying to start light and then see what the paper can take, especially in this damaged area. And also, first I have to gain back a little bit of my confidence from back then when it comes to acrylic paints. So thank you, Sammy, for this prompt. Comes in really handy. I'm not sure if I would have done this if I didn't started the YouTube thing. Probably I would just have call it a dead page and be very sad about it, but I don't know if I would have done it. Okay, so on its side it's red, and on the back it's more yellow. So now we are going into the tiny details. I try not to hit the lines, but if I do, then it is what it is. Okay, I have to find some way to make the paint that's still quite thick, although we don't use that much, to kind of fade in this area, because obviously we don't want to cover it completely. Yeah, let's not try to make the same mistake on the other side. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. It's probably maybe already too much, but it's okay. We will figure this out somehow. Okay, where does the shoulder start from this froggy? I think down here we will go already a little bit more in the bluish area. And where do you start? I think, Alessandra, I think there is a line missing. Just a little teeny tiny one, but I think it's missing. Okay, then let's start from the other side and bring in some yellow. One thing, these four and these two blue ones, so these up here and these down here, are actually just cheap acrylic paints that I got from the dollar store. It's nothing fancy. And the yellow ones are these folk art brand. These are not very common in Germany. I remember I saw these paints on YouTube when I was doing my sculpting stuff, and there's somebody that I was following and watching his videos, and he was using them, so I thought I would give them a try, and I ordered them, and they were so freaking expensive. I think for you guys over there, it's also even a kind of dollar store brand. And for you, it's probably quite cheap. And I got them and I paid a freaking whole lot for them. And not just for the paint, also for shipping, since they are not from here. So yeah, that was fun. Really? Not. And then I got them, and just so it would make sense, I of course not just ordered 1 or 2 colors, but a whole bunch. And then I got them, and I thought, well, our dollar store acrylic paints are better. Sorry, but they are better. At least I was more used to them back then. Maybe that's the reason why. But yeah, I had a hard time using them. I feel like they weren't that opaque as I was used to acrylic paints. I mean, I could work with them. It was okay, but I had to do more layers to get them really covering everything. So yeah. And I'm sorry, but the glare is crazy, I know. Okay. Now I'm just trying to fade everything together to get a kind of smooth transition. But especially when the acrylic paints start to dry, it's getting harder to get that. I remember that. We will see. It's already more orange than I anticipated, but the beauty of acrylic paints is when they are dry, they will stay where they are, and then you can just go over it and change the colors. Right now it looks like a hot mess. I'm aware of that, but we will get there somehow, somewhen, I'm sure. I hope. Okay. This little froggy that I have as a reference picture has a very dark stripe on its side, but for now I will ignore this. I will lay down a complete base and then just throw in the black at the end, so I don't have to bother to color around the black areas and just go over it. So now I can't see the belly of this pretty boy, so we have to wing it. And I already looked, I couldn't just find a picture of this species from where you can see the belly, but I think I want to do it a little lighter, like a little white or very pale blue. Not sure. Whoops. Okay, I think that's enough for that part. Then we go to the blues. Let's start with blue. A second. Okay, so your arms are blue. And in case anybody is wondering, I also don't have very fancy brushes. This brush here is actually the one that came with my gouache paints. I haven't invested in super fancy brushes, even back then, because I was always terrible with my brushes. I was so bad to them in terms of regularly cleaning them and immediately clean them when I was finished, and I was just so bad that I destroyed a lot of them. And knowing myself, I didn't buy the fancy ones. The only thing for acrylic paints is I never used the ones from natural material, so no real fur. What's mostly just due to the fact that I ruined them constantly, and the natural ones are just very expensive. And since I went through them back in the days so much, it just didn't make sense to buy the fancy ones. It was just too expensive and not worth for me. So actually my acrylic paintings are just budget friendly. You could say this. Okay, I need a little bit more bright, actually a lot brighter. And you can see, if you think the ugly teenager stage with pencils is bad, then just look at this stage with acrylic paints. That's bad. That's bad. So, as always, trust the process. And hope for the best. In this case today, I definitely just hope for the best. Since I can already tell you it's using acrylic paint is not like riding a bicycle. You definitely forget what you learned back then. At least I feel that way. Okay, this is a little too thick. But also with acrylic paint, I actually work with it in layers. That's pretty much what you should do, I think. Yes, it's tough. For me too. If you're very passionate acrylic painters watching this right now, bear with me. I just have to remember what I'm doing as I am doing. It's been a while. Okay, so now I have to figure out where all these arms and legs are going. Okay, I think. Let's start from above. In frame, yes. Should I bring you a little bit down? Sorry. So, is this better? Nope. Now the lamp is right in my face. Okay, I think I'm just seconds away from just go all in and don't bother with all the little teeny tiny areas. Okay, where is the backside? You're twisting your leg a little too much, buddy. And as I said, we still can go in with pencils afterwards and work on the definition a little bit more. Since this is very, very small. And when I was painting with acrylic paint back then, I used big canvases, so that's something very different. If you are interested in what I painted back then, feel free to go to my Instagram page and then just scroll down all the way. And when you come to the bottom, there are views of my old acrylic paintings. For I think I have there a parrot, a big Star Wars one, and a flamingo. I think these are the three that I posted back then. And none of these I have anymore. Oh, and there is, I think, let me check. I'm not sure. Already posted too much. Do I have? No. So this is, sorry, this is the flamingo one I did. And this is the parrot, also acrylic paint. And this is the Star Wars one back then. If you want to see it a little better, like I said, just check out my Instagram. So yeah, at least back then I knew what I did, but good old times, good old times. And now we have to remember somehow. So, for real, guy, how can you twist your leg like this? It's confusing. Okay, now I went over the line on the branch, so that means we will do that one with a very thick paint too. Decision made by accident. Okay, for real, I can't wrap my head around where this leg's going. But we will figure it out somehow. Okay, so down here should be leg. Let's leave. Up here should be leg. And where are we going? In Alessandra, I think there's another line missing, also a teeny tiny one. But it's fine, Alessandra, I got you. Got it. This should be also a leg. This will be a little darker later on. Right now I'm just mapping out where blue is and where this is leaf. So, yeah, that's just thigh. That's here. Here. Yeah. I think this could be a leaf, but where does it stop? Back here? Till here? Let's imagine that. So that means here would be toes. Okay. I think that's it for this leg chaos. What's this? Is this also a toe? A finger? This area here? But that wouldn't make sense, right? No, that wouldn't make sense. Okay. And back to the body. And that's a finger. That's the thumb, I think. So that's belly. And down here should be belly. Oh, that's fun. It's so long. It's been so long, really. But it's fun. Don't get me wrong. Even though I'm rambling around about what is going on, it's actually fun. Okay, so like I said, I want the belly to be very bright, although I'm not sure if that's anatomically and biologically correct, but who cares? It's my frog. And you will have a very pale white belly. And this will be probably a pretty long color along. Since I feel there will be a lot to fix in the process. We would see how much stuff we can throw on one page before the paper says, okay, that's enough. I'm out. Do what you want, but I'm out. Okay. Bring in some blue. I don't want the belly to be actually white, but very pale. Okay. Okay. So, the darker blue, I think. Sorry, I have just to check some stuff. Okay. So, now we are going to this beautiful, beautiful blue, but I realized it's kind of gooey because I hadn't used it for so long. So water is needed. The good thing is now that I moved, I mean, it's been a few months now, but I already found the store where I bought these colors. So although I don't have to have the need to buy more, at least when I want to, I now know where to get it. That's good. Now this is gonna be fun because this is such a big difference now between those colors. Yeah, that's super dark. Super, super dark. In direct comparison, at least. And it's not thin enough. So, like I said, I haven't used these in a while, and this color was already, in direct comparison, pretty difficult to get out of the bottle. So I already knew that this one will be a little bit more tricky. But it's okay. As long as they are not completely dried up and start to get clumps and stuff, you can still work with them. I think the bottom part of the toes will be light. So maybe I should just take a smaller brush, but like I said, I came from canvases, and there you have so much space that with a smaller brush you just drive yourself crazy. At least in my opinion. I don't care for the border anymore. I will somehow cover this up later on. I'm not sure how, but I don't care for now. Also, I heard I got comment that I somehow, or sometimes, when I'm coloring, covering the area that I'm coloring with my hand. I am aware of that. Maybe it's better with the brush right now. But sometimes it's really hard for me first to check if I'm in frame, then see if the focus is still there or if we are all blurry, and then check if my hand is in the way. So bear with me, I will figure it out, but for now, I'm sorry, it is what it is. Okay. Oh, this will be messy. This will be messy. But fine. This little arm. Okay. Looks terrible right now, right? I can see that too. It's okay. Just trust the process. We will get it somewhere, and if it's in the trash, then it's in the trash. At least it was fun to try it out. And that's also something I just absolutely can just encourage you. Even though you are not sure how it comes out, just try it. Even though it's a fail at the end, as long as the process is fun, just do it. And it's fun. Really, I think it's fun. Just smearing around. But yes, I can already see that this will take a while. If we will get Froggy done in somewhat under 5 hours, then I'm happy. And then we will see how the rest is going. Okay. Do we want more? Let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, let's leave this to dry. Clean our brush. And while this down here is drying, we will go back to the head and even start with the eye. That will be easy, but I will just do it with a dark gray instead of a solid black, I guess. At least for now. We can still go darker afterwards. But I think for now we will do a dark gray. That's a little too much. Okay, and acrylic paints take a little longer to dry. Keep that in mind before you lay your hand into it. At this point, we should concentrate a little more to keep the shape of the eye round. Not sure if you can see. As long as it isn't dry, it's just shimmering the heck out of it. Okay. It's that. You should see it better when it's drying. Okay, then back to the red. Okay, and whoops. Now we start to try to cover our mess up here, down here a bit more. And somehow start to bring in variation into the colors. And now we are starting to use the paint a little thicker than we did before. I don't actually have orange. Ooh. Wow, everything's in the way today. Can we just hit even more stuff around so it wobbles a bit more? I feel it's still not enough. But yeah, orange is a color that you just don't need to buy, in my opinion. It's one of the most easiest color to mix. More yellow. think I will just go and bring out another little smaller brush, because that's too big for now. Okay, so smaller brush. Then let's even start to bring in more variation here and there. Careful not to destroy the shape of the eye. Wow, why is this brush so stiff? Once again, I most probably didn't clean it the last time I used it. As I said, I'm terrible to my brushes. I feel sorry for them. And now I'm actually starting to mix my colors on the paper itself. Slowly but surely. In fact, that's just like if you would use harder oil-based pencils like polys and stuff. There you also work with layering and changing the colors while working, just with layers, over layers, over layers, over layers. Now I'm just correcting a little bit of the shape of the eye, since we had a very dark line down here. But we will do the shading with acrylic paints, so therefore I don't need that black line now. Whoa. Okay, this time I have all the phones not muted. That's good. And right now we have two phones here, so first one you could hear. Now you heard the second one. Okay. I think now we are at the point where it starts to come to life, I think. Okay, back here it's a little too rough. The paint is still wet, so I can just work with just water. Now, just smooth it out a little more. Does it look better? A bit. Okay. Not dark enough here. At least for me. Okay, better. Then let's go further to the body. As I said, right now the glare is probably horrible for you, but as they dry, it should look better. Or you should see more than right now. It's just something you have to work with when you're using wet medium. Let's see what the other yellow can do. It's a little bit more greenish yellow. I'm not sure if I like that or if I want to stay on with the other yellow. And the reason why I'm not using my water tank brushes here is they would just release too much water. And with acrylic paints, you are more likely to use the paint very thick. And the tank brush would just dilute the colors too much, at least for me. So therefore, they are not in charge today. And it's actually really hard on this in these little areas to use them. So I don't want to make it more difficult for myself, as it already is. Yeah, no, that greenish yellow I don't like. It somehow looks muddy and not very pretty. And it's okay. As I said, just leave it to dry and then you can cover it again. Oop. Oh, today everything is in the way. Just bumping into everything. This will change completely after we lay down the black spots. Somehow I now just smudged the bright yellow. But so that means we will come back to his back again later on. Just water again. Oop. No, not again. Oh well. Okay. Then a little bit darker down here. I actually have a tube of very beautiful red, but since I haven't used it for so long, I can't get the tube open. The lid is just stuck. So that's fun. Not. Okay. Let's leave this to dry. Looks pretty messy right now, but that's just the stage. Okay, then go back to blue. Too much. Ooh. Ah! Okay, I take bets. When will I tip over my water? Then we will have to rescue a lot more. Let's just hope for the best. Because I just have to maneuver under the camera and then back up again. So the risk is there. The risk is there. Just don't have the smoothest skin, right? So my hand is still shaking today. I don't know what's going on. I mean, there's no reason to still be nervous after we already started it, and I'm not too unhappy with how we are going, so that shouldn't be the reason. Whoa, too much. Still too much. Okay. Now I'm back to concentrate mode. I'm sorry. Hope you're not bored by now. And I hope you're interested in this medium, in this video, even though you maybe are not looking forward to use acrylic paint. At least I can hopefully show you that it's possible to use them, not just for the background or stuff, but on the actual image. But I can absolutely understand if you say, "Wow, that's too intimidating." It's also intimidating for me too right now. And it's a first for me. I never colored an actual image with acrylic paint so far. But from time to time, it's just fun to use some new stuff. And maybe you will discover something that's actually absolutely up your alley. So now we go with black, because I want this to be very black as a kind of a shadow and to get more definition in. In between, I just not clean my brush, but just get some paint off my brush on the paper towel, and then go back in to get a little bit of a smoother edge. And then with water. Now we have to be careful not to change the whole color too much, but I think it's okay for now. We have to remember we still need to lay down the black spots later on. So I think I went too dark here. Otherwise we will lose them. The black spots later on if it's already too dark. So let's just fix this again. And then we will go up and work up here a bit more. And just a little bit of lighter areas on this arm, and then I think we will leave this arm to dry as it is. We put enough stress on this now. Okay, I think that's good. For now, let me just clean this brush properly, and then we can already lay down some white highlights up here, since we already started it down here. Just 1 second. I feel like this one line is a little too harsh for me. These down here. That's better. Okay, okay, but I have to make sure that my brush is really clean. I don't want to smear some blue into its orange head. Wouldn't look good. So white. Not too much. Also, my brush is a little too dry. Whoa. I'm so sorry. Okay, just here and there. I don't have that much paint on the brush right now. It's more water, actually. But it's still doing its job. Now we have a little too much here. I think that's better. Okay, and up here. Of course, I just laid my hand into the blue area we just colored. No, now it's a little too white. Not yellow enough anymore. Good. The rest of the highlights I will do after we lay down the black spots. Okay, back to the body. I'm already afraid of all this like chaos. 1 second, just let me twist you for one time so I can get a sharp edge on the leg here. Or at least kind of. Okay. And also I'm not working with the reference picture right now. I'm just winging it. I just used it to look which colors start, but from now it's all artistic freedom again. So, yep. Actually, I'm usually stop to use my reference picture quite early. First of all, mostly you won't get your reference picture in the same direction and as your page that you're coloring, so you will not get an exact copy of this one anyway. So therefore I don't stress myself to hold on to the reference too much. After I have the rough direction where which color should go, that's enough for me. That's a lot of paint. A lot. Too much. Let's just push it back. And if you're an acrylic painter, don't come at me. I'm not sure if that's a right technique or if it's a technique in the first place. Anyway, it's just trial and error at this point. I guess this looks too straight right now, and it doesn't look in the right direction. That is better. And now I completely ruined the sharp line that I did when I twisted you around. Where are we? Okay. 1 hour 15 minutes. I will stop this video at the 2-hour mark. Doesn't matter how far we are. I think 2 hours is long enough for a video that probably not that many people are interested in. since acrylic paint for coloring books is quite an unusual medium, and I'm not sure how many people are interested in seeing this. So yeah, I think 2 hours will be enough, and we will see how much we get done in 2 hours. I told you it's gonna be a long one, since acrylic paint is a lot of going back and forth. At least I feel that way. And I think 2 hours is actually long enough. If you guys actually watch this 2 hours, then you're crazy anyway, but I love crazy, and I thank you so much. Crazy is good. Keep being crazy, please. And yeah. So just so you know, in case you are coloring on the side, already be aware you are now at 1 hour 70 minutes already in, you crazy beautiful human being. Okay, we will just leave this belly for now, I think. We go to the next belly section, because for some reason this belly is the most frightening part for me. So I'm happy when it's finished, at least for the moment. Yeah, too much. But this time you should actually be able to see what I'm doing, I think. I don't hold the brush as far in front as I do with the pencil, so this time you should actually see something. That's something really good. So I have to change my water. It doesn't clean the brush, it just changes the color. Yeah, we will just leave this area of the belly around goes in the same area. Good. Just typical. Just typical. Okay. I think I will use some, I don't know, pencils or marker later on to get some of the definition back. That I just can't do in this little scale with a brush. Because, I mean, I probably could, but then I would sit here in about 2 months still working on this frog belly. And that's something I don't consider doing actually, since there are so many other pages I want to color. For example, still haven't done anything in the Tiny Worlds book that I made a flip through. Yeah, it's sad, it's sad. But once again, it's the weekend, and during the week I hardly have the time to do videos. Also, I still haven't come any further with my Pablo test page. Not a tiny bit, not at all. So that's also something that's still around. And so I don't consider doing this page for the next 3 months, especially since I want to get the video out for you guys, since you all already have to wait for so long for me to bring out the next one. And now I mixed in some black into my white. That's great. Oh, that's fine. We can still work with it. Okay. Bring in the dark from down here a little bit more. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, 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 okay. Best wishes from Cusco. Okay, clean this edge a little bit. Yes, a little too rough area down here. It's not pretty. Okay, that's better. But still down here, it should be a little darker, but not that harsh of a line. That wasn't looking good. I want it to be a little more soft. Don't like. I can see you sitting there like, what is she doing? She's working and working. It doesn't change a bit. I know, I know. I know where I want to go with this area, but it doesn't want to cooperate somehow. I don't think that's very nice. Okay, I will leave it there. I will leave it there. It would drive me crazy otherwise. Okay, but down here, it's also not soft enough. I think that's better. Okay. Then the fingers. Should we do the fingers? I think we do the fingers. And that's a bit of a different blue that I used. So let's see. See if we can get the fingers back. Okay. Then we go back to this other beautiful blue. I absolutely love this blue. It's so pretty. So pretty. We'll need it lighter. Much lighter. Too much. And just work it in. I could even go the smaller brush again, but then we will definitely sit in 2 months. Still, so we are not going to do that. But I could. I have smaller brushes from my sculpting time. But that would be just overkill. And I can promise you, even if you are still sitting here bravely and are still watching this, if I would size down the brush even more, then it would be boring for you too at one point, and I don't want that. Still hope you're interested. Now we are at this point again where I don't know what to say and what to tell you. So sorry for being quiet. Okay. Now it's starting to dry and create like a skin on the paint. I think these lines I will define later on, even marker or pencils, I'm not sure yet. We will figure it out later on. This could also be leaf, now that I'm thinking of. This could be actually a leaf, a part of the leaf that's coming down here. And I think, now that I think of it, I think that's what it is. That's not froggy, that's leaf. So, okay. That's leaf. Do you know that as soon as you see something that you colored wrong, you cannot unsee it? It's just always there. Terrible. Terrible. Okay, so I completely destroyed my white now. Nice blob. And since these are so cheap anyway, I really don't care about... Oh no, I wasted a teeny tiny bit of white down here. I don't care. They are really cheap, but considering that they are so cheap, they're actually really great to work with. And they're just opaque enough to get every job done that I want them to do. That's great. And yes, I can feel that I'm hitting the camera. Again. Where are we? Okay. Less than half an hour. I think when I've completed this fingertips here, we will start to lay down some black spots, so you at least saw some of them, although maybe not the complete ones. But then we at least covered every element. Before I will let you go, you're doing your day. And yeah, that's what we are going to do. And I think at this point I'm happy with the fingers. Since they are so small, I don't want to overwork them. But this surface here seems too smooth compared to the rest. So we will rough it up a little bit. Just one more thing before I forget. This part here we will just darken, at least at the bottom and the top a little more. Since it should be dark. I think so, at least. Okay, and then the brave step to the black, just like we did up here. Use a lot of water. Okay, just define a little tiny bit. Okay. And down here. Okay. And the fingers down here. Good. Okay, so that's enough playing around for this area. Okay, let's go back to the face because there's one thing I want to do with the eye. And I actually want to correct my mistakes up here and bring in more of the black now in the pupil and stuff. So this black paint also already created kind of a skin. So therefore I just dig the wet paint out of it a little bit. clean the brush so that I just don't have too much paint on it. And then let's see. We'll start with the gray again, so we have the same color. And just make it round again. Okay. Already enough. And then the exciting part. Bring back the pupil. Microphone is playing peekaboo. And for now I will also cover the little highlight. We will do our own highlight later on. Okay. And back here. And now we will dilute the black paint even more. And darken up the eye on the bottom part. And clean the brush and just soften it out a little more. Water. So it's still dark on the bottom part and lighter up there. So you see, although we covered this black shadow that was there with red color, we still have it. We still have the dimension. Okay. And just the tiniest bit of white. And make our gray a little lighter. And go in the eye again. That's actually pretty scary part for me right now, since the eye is one of those things you automatically focus on when you look at the page. So therefore it's a pretty dominant object. If you mess it up, it will always look a little weird. And then I just work with water as long as the paint isn't completely dry yet. And then, I mean, the eye is not black now, not black as they are in reality, but this way I feel it looks a little more realistic. Okay. So now we have about 15 minutes left for some black spots. Now I will bring my reference picture out again to look where our black spots are. So I would say I will do one on his mouth, maybe here somewhere, maybe. Then we will do one up here. I think we will start with the one on the eye. That's, for me, the most easiest one to figure out, I think. Water. Black paint. Hold your breath. Okay, I think that's enough. Just more dark. Maybe I should finally turn the sound off. Okay, then very, very diluted black. Because now I have to work a little bit more of shadow down here. And since I have black on the paper already, why not use it? And I think the line is a little too harsh for me. I think that's better. Okay, then the black spot, the big one, the very big one. Maybe first the snout one down here. I think would be a good spot. Somehow it looks weird. But it's okay, we will figure it out why it looks weird. I think because the line is once again too harsh. We have to soften it a little bit. And I think that then it would look a little bit more realistic and intended. English is still not my strong suit, but it's okay. Now for some reason it still doesn't look right. Maybe if we just pretend there would be another one. Oops. Oh! So sorry. Even if we don't like it, we can still cover it up with red acrylic paint. That's the beauty of acrylic paint. Even the dark spots you can cover. Although it might be a little harder, but it's possible. Okay, I think like that better. Okay, and I see that he has a little yellow line under his eye. Maybe let's also do that. Why not? If we are going all colorful, then why not? Okay. No. These black spots are super creepy and super scary. Okay, so it starts somewhere around his eye. Don't want it to be connected. Okay, like this and like this. Down there. Let's say the black is stretched out here. And then it just goes as a barrier between the red and the black. So that's good that we fiddled around up here in the blue area for so long to cover it now. That's great. But that makes the transition between the two colors super easy, since there is no smooth transition, but just black band. And look how these colors now pop next to the black. It's just amazing. Okay. Somewhat of a weird shape, but okay. Okay, I think this black spot goes a little further. And up here a little bit more. Sorry, my dear, but you're gonna probably have a black line soon on your leg. But if you're holding it there, then that's the risk you take. Okay, and then we have some, let me just continue this band down here, then we have this finished. Okay, then we have on its back there are a few bigger ones. Two. I think she's probably sitting on one of them. Okay, anyway, we bring in one here. Just like that. And now we are starting to freestyle again. Lady, you're sitting in the way. Really bad. Just like this. Okay. And even though this little fella doesn't have it, but I think I want one up here. Just a little one. Like this. Doesn't really look really natural, but at least not for me. Okay, anyway, we will leave it there. Next. Okay, so a lot of this blue stuff that we just colored for an eternity will be covered with spots, so that's great. But that way we at least have a consistent base color, and we don't have these white areas or where you didn't go all the way to the spot. So that's in fact the purpose of a base, although it takes a lot of time for stuff that you can't see anyways later on, but that's just what it's there for. Yeah, I think this one can even be a little bigger. Like so. And then a very big one down here. Whoop. Down here. I think. And maybe a smaller one here. Why not? And then on the arms. Now I just have the reference picture to see where are the bigger spots, where are the smaller spots, but not to lay the spots exactly where they are on the reference pictures. That's just now to see size-wise. And since we don't have any highlights now on these spots, they look very flat and weird, but that will change. Okay, and these arms are completely dotted. Okay, some of them don't have perfectly roundish shape. Also fine. Okay, but he's coming to life, right? I think he's looking cute. Actually, fun fact, I was thinking about getting poisonous dog frogs as pets for real, and I'm looking for it for years now. And now that I moved, yes, and pets are completely allowed here. But they are tropical frogs. That means they like it warm and wet. And that means you need a lot of electronics, techniques, and lights, and all the good stuff that needs electricity. And electricity is something that's freaking expensive at this moment. So, and yeah, putting up a huge terrarium that needs constant electricity in an amount that I can't even imagine. It's just not a thing to do at this moment. Maybe one day, but yeah. Nope, not in the moment. Just too expensive. Just too expensive. But yeah, I was really thinking about getting these. And some of you who don't know, since they are poisonous when they are in the wild. They lose their poison because it comes from the insects that they are eating in the wild that are poisonous. But when you feed them in captivity other insects that are just completely harmless, they will lose their poison. So I thought this was pretty interesting. And then they are completely harmless. So, okay, I think this already looks pretty good. Somehow it said that he has not more dots on its back. Maybe we can just embrace this a little more. Maybe this front dot looked weird because it wasn't black enough. Possibly. But black is a color where I'm always careful. Wow. It's okay, it's okay. I will stop. I will stop. Just the last finishing touches for today. And now the eye next to the black lines looks a little too gray. So we will take all black and just darken the eye again. Sometimes these are the things that you only see after you colored the surrounding areas. And you see, so okay, I can go darker or lighter or whatever. But a gray eye would now look weird after we have this strong black on his body. So I think that's better. Okay, but we almost made it on the 2-hour mark. Not yet, not quite. We are a little over, but I think that's a good start for the first part. And you can see our oopsie is completely covered. You can see anything of it on the froggy itself, although it looks here a little darker, but it's actually red paint, so you can't see anything of the smear underneath. Yeah, I hope you liked this adventure on a new medium, something that you probably won't see that often, at least not as a main medium to color in a coloring book. But it's actually fun, although this medium takes a lot more time and it's somehow a little messy. But anyway, I hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed it. I hope I could maybe encourage you to use your acrylic paints a little bit more and give them a little bit more love. We will be back with this cute little fella. I actually think that I will finish his legs off camera. You saw what I did with this arm, so I will do just the rest just the same. But to save us a little bit more time for the next areas, for the next parts. And yeah, I really hope that you are interested enough to join me in the next part for this little froggy guy. And until then, thank you very much for watching. Thank you all for your great comments and your feedback and your love and your likes and your everything just for watching. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next one. And until then, bye.